All right, let's get into a really fascinating model for early childhood mental health. We're going to be looking at something called the Body and Brain Program from an organization called Safe Harbor. And it's completely rethinking how we support the emotional well-being of our youngest kids right where they spend most of their days. But this whole idea brings up a really big question. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. How do you actually teach a toddler about something as abstract as anxiety? How do you explain self-regulation to a 4-year-old? It's a huge challenge, and that is the exact problem this whole program was built to solve. So, to really understand how it works, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll look at what this new kind of classroom's all about, how the kids learn through play, the partnership model that makes it all possible, who's actually in there running the show, and, why this whole thing really matters in the first place. Okay, first things first. What do we even mean by a new kind of classroom? Let's get a really clear picture of what this is. So the Body and Brain program is basically a behavioral health curriculum for little kids, aged 3 to 8. Now, what makes it so different? 2 things. First, it's trauma-informed, which means it's designed with a deep understanding of early life stress. But the real game changer, it's delivered on-site, right at the child's daycare. That simple change of location is huge. It removes so many barriers for families who need this kind of support. The whole thing is built on 4 core pillars. And it's not just about sitting and talking. It's about doing. You've got movement, like games and yoga. You've got mindfulness to help kids calm their bodies and minds, their social-emotional learning. And maybe most importantly, everything is wrapped up in play-based strategies. This isn't therapy in some sterile office. It's learning to the natural language of every kid, play. Okay, so what does that actually look like for a kid in the program? Let's dive into what learning through play really means here. Well, there's a very clear journey mapped out over 8 weeks, and you can see here it's not just random activities. It starts with the absolute basics in week 1, big feelings, small bodies. From there, it builds brick by brick. By week 7, they're talking about their brain as a super tool, and it all wraps up with this amazing sense of growth and belonging. It's a really smart, scaffolded approach to building emotional intelligence. And if you zoom in on any given day, the structure is just as intentional. A session might start with a feelings check-in, then jump into a fun movement activity, followed by a story-based lesson. And then they even have time for a cool down and journaling. It's this fantastic rhythm that balances high-energy fun with quiet, reflective moments, all in the span of a couple of hours. What does all of this really add up to? Empowerment. This one line taken right from a behavior poster in the room says everything. Instead of just a list of rules to follow, the program explicitly teaches kids to listen to their bodies and advocate for their own needs. That is a life skill. Teaching a kid it's okay to ask for a break is foundational for self-regulation. But you might be wondering, how does this all fit into an already busy daycare center? That's where the partnership model comes in. It's the engine that makes the whole thing run. For a daycare that wants to get involved, the process is designed to be super straightforward. It's really just 4 steps. They sign an agreement, figure out a dedicated space for the program, get the right staff trained up, and we'll talk more about that in a sec, and then they launch. The idea is to make it as easy as possible to integrate these services right into their daily flow. Of course, the daycare is a crucial partner here. They're the ones providing the space, making sure kids get to their sessions on time, and helping with all the little logistical things. And this is a big one. They communicate with the program staff and help reinforce the tools the kids are learning throughout the rest of the day. It really is a team effort. And this is a true business partnership. The daycare isn't just donating a room. They're actually compensated with a monthly facility use fee. And that fee is tiered based on how many kids are enrolled. This makes the whole model sustainable for the childcare providers, as long as they have at least 8 kids signed up. Okay, this all sounds really good in theory, but we all know a program is only as good as the people running it. So let's talk about who exactly is running the show. This is so important. The program's credibility really hangs on its professional oversight. Every single session is overseen by licensed mental health professionals, and there's always a credentialed Safe Harbor staff member on site to make sure everything is up to clinical standards. So no, this isn't just glorified playtime. It's a real therapeutic program with serious compliance. Now, here's where the model gets really clever. They use a special role called a Case Manager I, or CMI. This is a certified staff member who's on the ground, facilitating the day-to-day activities. And what's so cool is that existing daycare staff can actually go through the training to become a certified CMI, which embeds the program even deeper into the daycare's culture. But the boundaries for the CMI role are crystal clear, and that is absolutely critical. They can help with skill-building activities, support therapeutic play, and take notes. But they cannot provide therapy, they can't make a diagnosis, and they can't work without supervision. This bright line ensures that the supportive work is done on site, while all the clinical heavy lifting stays in the hands of the licensed professionals. And becoming a CMI isn't just a weekend workshop. It requires a clear state background check and completing a whole set of core training modules from the state's mental health authority. We're talking about comprehensive training on confidentiality, ethics, crisis response, the whole shebang. It ensures a really high standard of care. Okay, so we've looked at the classroom, the curriculum, the partnerships, and the people. Let's pull the lens back now and look at the big picture. Why does a model like this really matter? The real magic of this model is that it's a win-win-win. The children learn absolutely vital coping skills in a place they already feel safe. Parents get regular updates and feel more connected and supported. And the daycares? They get on-site mental health experts, which is an incredible resource. It's a solution that really lifts up the entire early childhood community. So if you're gonna remember just a few things, let it be these. First, accessibility. It meets kids right where they are. Second, prevention. It's proactive, not reactive. It teaches skills before a crisis hits. Third, support. It builds a safety net that includes the kids, parents, and teachers. And finally, collaboration. It's this brilliant, unique partnership that bridges the huge gap between healthcare and childcare. And that leaves us with one last idea to chew on. You know, we teach our kids how to take care of their physical bodies in PE class from a very young age. It's just normal. So what if we started treating emotional fitness the exact same way? As a fundamental, totally normal, non-negotiable part of every single child's education. Just think about what that future could look like.